Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Pete here with MixBetterNow.com. Happy 2017. Happy New Year, everyone. I want to wish each and every one of you a very happy New Year. I hope you all had an amazing holiday season. I know I did. I was down in Florida with my family over Christmas. I was out of the studio for a few weeks, so just got back in the saddle here. We have a brand new Mix Critique Monday, the 1st of 2017, the 1st of January. We have three awesome mixes. We have a mix from Andrew Laing. We have a mix from Flora, and we have a mix from Sknee. Now, real quick, before we jump in here and start listening, I just want to welcome everybody. If we have any new viewers, any new listeners out there, I'd like to say welcome. And I just want to give you a little background on what Mix Critique Monday is. Very simply put, if you would like to send me a mix of yours to critique, all you have to do is email me at pete@mixbetternow.com. All my contact information is going to be in the show notes below, but it's really that easy. You just email me a mix of yours. Make sure it's a downloadable MP3 or a downloadable WAV file. Please include your name and the name of the song, and it will eventually make its way into one of these Mix Critique Mondays. We're already booked out, I think, until March, maybe the end of February, but like I said, first come, first serve, and the idea is very simple, okay? So I'm going to listen to some mixes here, and I just go ahead and give some constructive criticism, things that I hear. I want to help you achieve the best mix you can possibly get. So if I hear something that you possibly don't, and I can make you aware of it, all of this stuff is constructive and in a positive way. Nothing is negative here. Nothing is said in a disparaging manner. This is a positive, safe community, and I strive to keep it that way. So anything you hear me say, it is all with the best intentions. And that's the idea of Mix Critique Mondays, all right? So without further ado, first up, we have a track called Be the Light, and this is mixed by Andrew Laing. So let's go ahead and jump in here. One thing I forgot to point out before I started is that I am listening on my Sennheiser HD 650s. I am using the amazing SonarWorks Reference 3 plugin here. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it essentially flattens out the frequency curve of your headphones, and there's various curves in here depending on which headphones you have. There's all kinds of AKG models in here, Audio-Technica, Bear Dynamic, KRK, Sennheiser, Shure, Sony. So check it out. Just Google SonarWorks. Might be sonarworks.com. And I find that I love the Sennheiser HD 650s, and I find on here it gives me a very nice flat response. They also do room correction software, so I'm listening through that on here. It gives me a nice flat response. So just thought I would let you know that so you could check it out.
In His light we will rise over every evil that we despise. I'm not here to be a visionary. I'm not here to give you any type of false prophecy. I'm here to share a passage, Matthew 5:16. That's where I got the main message. In His light we shall rise. So let this word from His book be our guide.
In the darkness we should need a light. In the darkness we should need a light. In the darkness we should need a light.
I dig the tune so far. Everything's sounding good. The one thing for me is the snare sounding a little bit buried. I'm hearing a lot of sub-lows in the kick. Let me just back up a little bit here.
From His book, be our guide.
In the darkness we should need a light. In the darkness we should need a light.
Because there's a bit of instrumentation kind of competing for some similar frequencies. You've got the low end on the piano.
In the darkness we should
back it up again.
We shall rise. So let this
see right there on this intro,
type of false prophecy,
or first verse, whatever you want to call it, there's some nice spatial things going on, but when you could see the waveform picks up here, so it gets a little bit busier.
In the darkness we should need a light. In the darkness we should need a light.
I'm just losing a little bit of the left hand on the piano on the bottom, and then the strings kind of come in. So I'm wondering if we can clean that up at all. Let's try something. I'm hearing, I feel like we could high pass the bottom a little bit. That's one thing that I feel like when I talk to people about using a high pass filter on the mix bus, on the entire mix, like a lot of people kind of look at me a little weird, but I high pass everything. I high pass my kick drums, I high pass my bass, any other low end stuff, cellos, synths. I will high pass everything, including the mix bus. There are just, unless you really have subs, you can't hear 20 hertz, you can't really hear 30 hertz. And I find it just tightens all of that stuff up. So let me loop it back and we'll play a little bit of it. I'm also hearing just a couple frequencies I feel like that could be cleared up.
In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness, we should need a.
So we're at 20 right now, and I'm not really hearing any of this stuff, so we can keep going. Kick fundamental looks around 50 or 60, which is pretty normal.
With his word as a sword, that's how we shall fight.
Wind came from the heaven.
So I'm high passing to about 28 there. I'm going to bring it back again.
Be our God.
In the darkness,
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm hearing.
we should need a light. In the darkness, we should need a light. With his word as a sword, that.
So I'm hearing a lot of this build up at 300, and when I solo it, you can hear kind of that really, it's almost boxy. It's not really nasally down there, so it's kind of like you get some of this kind of build up, you know what I mean? And then you kind of just lift it off, and boom, you can clear up a little bit of it. So let's just make sure it's happening around there.
In the darkness, we should. In the darkness, we should need a light.
So that's like 300. So maybe a little 300 and 500 can come out, clean that up.
In the darkness, we should need a light.
And I'm not talking about much. I'm kind of thinking along the lines of more of some mastering subtractive style EQ, couple dB, 1 dB cut, a wide Q.
In the darkness, we should need a light. With his word as a sword, that's how we shall fight.
Wind came from the heaven above, filled the whole house where they were sitting with love.
Yeah,
Such a
right here. Okay, so I'm hearing, I'll go back again. I'm not trying to skip any of these parts. I'm just trying to listen. Hear that? And that right there is kind of the that little bit of competition area I was hearing, where you have some stuff clashing. Left hand on the piano, maybe some of the high end of the bass. So we'll remove a little bit of it.
We should need a light. With his word as a sword, that's how we shall fight. In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness.
That just opened it up a lot for me personally. We'll bring it back again.
In the darkness, we should need a light.
Okay, so when he comes in with In the Darkness, I'm just going to bypass this in and out. It's a subtle thing. I hope you guys can hear it. I stress on all my videos. I hope you're listening on headphones or on good studio monitors, because it's going to be hard to hear nuances, like on an iPhone or a tablet or something like that. So let's bypass this in and out.
In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness, we should need a light. With his word as a sword, that's how we shall fight. In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness, we should need a light. In the darkness, we.
Yeah, that's doing a lot for me. I know it's not a whole lot of cutting. It's 1-2 dB on each, so almost 2 dB on 300, and 2 dB on round 550. But it's doing a lot for me, and then doing a little cut, filtering at the bottom. We are cutting, but it's filtering. So 30 hertz, 12 dB per octave slope. that tightens up the bottom. You know what I mean? You just kind of roll off, get rid of some of that 20. You can't hear 20, but 20 is definitely going to smear the bottom end of your mix unless you're kind of mixing on a sub or mixing for club music or something to be listened to on that kind of a system, right? So that, you know, that seems to be doing a lot for me. I'll leave this up here. Definitely take a screenshot if you want, Andrew. Check it out. There's alternate ways to kind of, I guess, get in and do this. You can work backwards. I mean, you could definitely put this on your mix bus and EQ it that way, or in mastering if that's the way you want to do it. But I would say try and go back and figure out like what's causing, you know, competition at 300, at 550. I mean, but the flip side is that those are very common frequencies to kind of remove. I tend to, you know, get rid of what I would call mud. 200, 150. It just depends on the mix. It depends on the instrumentation. Anyway, 300, 550, little high pass filter, simmer for 20 minutes, and you're good to go. I'm gonna just turn this off now. We'll keep listening and digging the tune so far. Here we go.
We should be the light in the darkness. We should be the light with His word as a sword. That's how we shall fight.
Wind came from the heaven above, filled the whole house where they were sitting with love. Such a beautiful.
I'm hearing a little bit of nasally kind of thing going on in her vocal. I know that tends to sit on a male. That's around 500 hertz, and on a female, she's kind of singing a little bit lower than most females. So, search 500, 600, 400. Kind of do what I did there, boost, sweep around a little bit, and you should be able to pull it out. You won't hear it, obviously, if I do that on here. You would need to do it on her vocal track. But I'm just hearing a little bit of nasal. Otherwise, I like the tone of everything. Everything's sounding good. I think the piano's got some nice clarity on the high end. I think the string pad sounds cool. I like her voice. Everything's kind of, sitting in a good spot. Just a little bit of nasal on that vocal.
Beautiful sight to admire. We saw one that seems to be tongues of fire. The light of the spirit they receive. The gift is yours if also you believe. Light that shine on them, let it shine on you. So you can show the good works that you do.
In the darkness, we should be the light.
That you do.
In the darkness, we should be the light. In the darkness, we should be the light. With His word as a sword, that's how we shall fight. In the darkness, we should be the light. In the darkness, we should be the light. In the darkness, we should be.
I feel like the kick drum could just be kind of the kick out sound, where you get a lot of that oomph, and that thump from, versus the kick in mic, which is going to give you the attack and the click of the beater. I could almost use a little bit more attack on the kick just to kind of have it push through. I know I've said this before in prior Mix Critique Mondays. I like to use things like pick a Neve 1073 or a 1081 or a 31102, any Neve where it doesn't have to be any specific plugin. I just know that there's, Neve EQs have fixed EQ points. So 4.6K, 4.7K, something around there. Kind of, I like to use that as a frequency to add some attack to my kick. 8K shelves are great too if you're using something like an SSL channel strip. 3K can also sound nice on it. So just bring a little attack on that might be cool.
Be the light with His word as a sword. That's how we shall fight. You can be the light. That's how we shall. That shines so bright. That's how we shall. You can be the light. That's how we shall. That shines so bright. In the darkness, we should be the light. In the darkness, we should be the light. In the darkness, we should be the light. With His word as a sword. That's how we shall fight. In the darkness, we should be the light.
Kind of dig. I don't know if that's a guitar coming in. Sounds like a guitar. Just like those little arpeggios that are playing. That's a really nice little touch there. That's kind of adding a very cool element as it builds. As we're getting to the last chorus here, we're in it, right? You're really, this should be the most exciting part of the song for the listener. You want to keep the listener engaged. definitely dig bringing that in. That's a great move.
In the darkness, we should need the light. In the darkness, we should need the light. With His word as a sword, that's so we shall fight. In the darkness, we should need the light. In the darkness, we should need the light. In the darkness, we should need the light. With His word as a sword, that's so we shall fight. That's so we shall fight. That's so we shall fight.
Yeah. Awesome. Andrew, great job on that. Really, really dug the tune. Very fun song. Cool instrumentation. Love songs with pianos and strings and things like that. Again, I really liked how you started, you're building it. It's a repetitious song, not in a bad way. It's just, it's a repetitious pattern. So I think with songs like that, you kind of, from a production point of view, from a mix point of view, we always need to keep the listener engaged. And I think you did a really good job on that, bringing in some of those instruments. Like I said, you said it to me like there was a guitar and an arpeggiated synth on the end there that kind of came in. Also felt like I was getting a little bit more volume there. So it and on the meter too, it looked like he might have been pushing the overall volume of the mix up there. So yeah, really great job. Only thing I would tweak is, like I said, there's a little bit of nasaliness on the female vocalist, and then I would look to kind of get rid of a little bit of mud or around 300 and a little bit of boxiness around 550, maybe a little high pass. You could go to around 30 hertz, 12 dB per octave shelf. You could probably even go more if you use the 6 dB per octave shelf. But yeah, really solid mix. I really enjoyed it, and I thought you did a great job. So thank you for submitting that. Appreciate it. That was Be the Light, mixed by Andrew Laing. Awesome job, Andrew. All right, next up, let's zoom over here. We have Phoenix 9 by the band Lumastora, and this is mixed by Jed Flora. I believe, Jed, this is your band. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. Big fan of... always excited to hear your mixes and hear your original music. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So we've got Phoenix 9 by the band Lumastora, and this is mixed by Jed Flora. That rhymed. Here we go, man. Oh, reverse guitars. Already love it. Yes, love it. There's something on the bottom there that's kind of bothering me a little bit. Let's zero this out. Just hearing a little bit of mud somewhere. I feel like we could clean something up. Let me go back to where the band comes in. Let's tighten up the bottom. Surprise, surprise, similar frequencies as before. I'm hearing a little bit of mud at 300, and it's no coincidence that it's you'll see me week after week kind of point out these similar frequencies, because there's a lot, you get a lot of buildup in similar spots. It's just a natural occurrence when drums, guitars, bass, keys, things like that. There's going to be vocals. Certain frequencies are going to clash. Let's see if we can just kind of make a couple tweaks here and clean it up. Scroll back. It's not as extreme. Yeah, maybe 200. Mouse slipped. Yeah, so around 200 there, I think we can just pull like a dB or two out of. Right, so you got the bass kind of fighting with the kick there, the low end of the guitar as well. Let's try and pull out a little. So we're getting some boxiness around 500. I'm going to go back and pull it in and out. It's pretty subtle. I don't want to pull down the 200 too much because we got a lot of low end kind of power built up there. I don't want to lose the intensity of the kick or the bass. Right, so let's just check this out, in and out. Yeah, that seems to be doing a lot. So 3 cuts, about 1 dB at 200. All right, I've got 1.8 dB at 300, and then 2 dB at 500. These are very, very gentle moves, nothing extreme. It just really opens up the bottom, and by removing these things, we're actually getting the track to sound bigger. So by taking those things out, right now, this mix sounds bigger to me. It's a rock mix. You've got powerful drums. You got powerful bass. You have powerful guitars. It's a pretty long intro. I don't know if there's vocals in this yet. We haven't gotten that far, but you want the beginning to kick ass. You want it to rock. So you want it to sound big, and you want it to be impactful, and you want it to hit you. And that's kind of what this does, I think. Yeah, very cool. So I'll leave this up again for one more second if you want to take a little note. So high passing to about 37, 40 hertz, 12 dB per octave slope. Little 200 coming out at 1 dB, a little 300 at 1.8 dB, and then 500. I wouldn't worry about the dBs or the Q or anything like that. I would just focus on those frequencies, play with it, throw an EQ on your mix bus, on your 2 bus, boost it, sweep around, listen for those things, right? So basically what I'm pulling out at 200 and at 300 here would be what you would consider muddiness. And then up here, you're kind of getting into that boxiness, nasally kind of area. You know what I mean? And those are always problematic frequencies. So as long as you can handle those, you're good to go. I'm just going to turn this off now, and we'll keep listening and enjoy this tune. Cool little breakdown. Drums sound awesome. I just want to say really good job on the, I don't know if that's a guitar tuned down, like a regular guitar tuned down, or if that's a baritone guitar that you got doing the, like, you know, doing the, kind of supplementing what the bass is almost playing there on the low end. It sounds great though, in such a good way. It's often hard to kind of like rein in the low end and make it sound tight and to make it sound focused without sounding sloppy and get kind of, subby or just to make it sound tight and big, and I think it does a great job right there. Like nothing's really like the kick and the bass and the baritone or the guitar that's dropped isn't really fighting with each other. I can hear all of them really well, so really nice job on that, Jed. Sounds great so far, man. Jed, let me know what it sounds to me like you're using something like Superior Drummer, Addictive Drums, some kind of drum software, which is awesome. I love using stuff like that. The only problem is not all drum software is created equal. Like all guitar amp sims aren't created equal as well. The cymbals to me sound like really kind of trashy, but they're thin. Some of those programs, I know the cymbals can be like the worst part of the whole thing. I know, as somebody who uses and owns Superior Drummer, Easy Drummer, Addictive Drums too, those are like, basically the two go-to things that I have. I'm not a huge fan of the cymbals on Superior Drummer. I think their drums sound awesome. I'll use Melodyne sometimes to write MIDI, and I can trigger Superior Drummer using MIDI notes that way, but just a thought. I know that's kind of like a battle, and I'll even know some guys who might go in and overdub cymbals as a way of, if you're not a drummer, you don't have to be playing all that crazy stuff on the kit. You can just go in and kind of, throw up an overhead mic or two, and just an idea. And I know some of those have mixers in them as well. So if you're like not multing them out to aux tracks or buses, and kind of each of them has their own channel. So like you can't really EQ or compress the overheads or the room mics. Sometimes you do that in the software. I know in Superior Drummer you can do that inside in the mixer. I forget if Addictive Drums does that or not, but just something to think about. To me, like the whole track sounds so big and gnarly and in your face, and then you kind of got these cymbals that are just like a little thin to me, and I almost kind of am craving a bigger kind of sheen on the cymbals, but it's not a huge deal, just something I heard. Very cool, man. Also, let me know, I'm curious, just as a guitar nerd, I am super curious to hear what guitar or guitars you track that with. And it sounds to me like you got a little amp sim going on there. So let me know what amp sim you like, or what amp sim you're using. I thought that one sounded particularly good if it was an amp sim. I personally don't like a lot of the top end fizz that you get on some amp sims. I don't want to, call any of them out or anything like that, but I thought it sounded great though. The guitar sounded big and rocking and great. Love the drums. The bass was there. Very cool instrumental track. Instrumental tracks have to keep your attention because you don't have vocals, right? Vocals are always the most important instrument in a track if there's vocals. So if there's no vocals, then whatever instrument is, I guess, the most prominent and up front or playing the lead, whether the lead is a lick or it's a chord progression, something like that, then that becomes the most important instrument. And for me, that's the guitars in that track. So I would say great job. Just a couple of things on the EQ, on the mix bus there. This is what I had. Again, little 200, little 300, little 500 can come out, and a little high passing. But yeah, really cool. We'll go back to the default, clear that out. And we'll move on. So thank you so much. That was a mix by Jed Flora. The song is called Phoenix 9, and that's by his band Luma Stora. So thanks, as always, Jed. Appreciate you. Last up, this is a fun one. I took a little peek at this just because the name is awesome. This is a song called Ice on My Wrist. It's not wrist, it's wrist. And this is produced by the Icons. And this is mixed by Sknee G. I think it's Sknee G. If it's Sknee G, I apologize. That's just my whiteness. But I'm a big hip-hop fan, though. This is a fun track. And I just want to let you guys know, too, that I went and I've turned all these down. A lot of these were clipping clipping the channel, clipping the mix bus here. And just be careful when you guys are mixing, when you're mastering. I don't particularly have a huge problem with stuff being loud. I know that's a common thing nowadays, right? Everything's loud and you need to compete. You want to be competitive. And then there's the psychoacoustic principle of louder is better. So if something gets louder, then you think it's better, or someone else thinks it's better. And it's a tough thing to fight with, but I think dynamic range is so important to have. Dynamic range is the difference between the peak value on the volume. So if I open a fader, if I open a meter, this is the just the Brainworks meter, and it's great. But like if we go back, let's listen to Jed's song again here. And now I pulled this down 5.6 dB. And I was just doing this to hit the K14, the Bobcat's RMS scale or measurement system in Studio One here. I'm not going to get into what that is right now, but if I set this to standard and if I put this back up to 0, right, to where it was, check out how loud this is, just how far it's kind of pushing. So that's kind of around -6 RMS, and the peak is obviously at 0. It's clipping. It doesn't sound like it's audibly clipping, so some might say, well, what difference does it make? I just always try and stay away from that. If you're seeing red lights, throw 2 limiters on or 3 limiters on. I'm not saying push those limiters equally as hard, but put them on there just to catch those peaks and to let the limiters work. I'd rather put 3 limiters on and have each limiter take 1 dB off than have one limiter doing 3 or 4 dB. It's going to sound a lot more natural and a lot more transparent, especially when you're trying to get volumes really loud. And then the same thing happened here on Ice All on My Wrists. This was really loud as well. And, just be careful, guys, because dynamic range is important. A dynamic range is basically the difference with how loud and how quiet, a song is. So this was averaging around 5. And if you go and listen back to some, so this is a rock track. If you go back and listen to a record like Nirvana's Nevermind, which is 1991, everything was quieter back then. Things have progressively gotten louder till now, but I believe the dynamic range on Nevermind was like -15. So that goes to show you that that's got 10 more dB of dynamic range on there. The more dynamic range, the bigger that song is going to sound, right? The more we squish it, the less room it has to get excitingly louder or kind of, to get quieter. Metallica, Death Magnetic, the new Radiohead record. I mean, all that stuff has just been absolutely murdered and squished to like that. I'm not preaching anything here. Some people might, go about the loudness wars, and my buddy Ian Shepard's a big, check him out, by the way, productionadvice.com or productionadvice.co.uk. Ian, you're the man. he's a great mastering engineer, and he is rightfully so. He's concerned about a lot of the mastering levels. Anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now, but just just be careful, guys. It doesn't need to be crushed. That's all I'm saying. That's why God invented volume knobs, right? So anyway, let's cruise over here to Ice All on My Wrist, Sknee G. We're gonna get our Southern swagger on right now, and make sure this is good to go. Last one here, okay? Ice All on my wrists, produced by the Icons, mixed by Sknee G. This is a fun one.
The Icons. Turn that shit up.
Shout out to them Icons, man. Sknee. I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, let cash it in. I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, let cash it in. I just want my pocket filled with bands. Franklin's, bitch, I don't do them grants. No way. 14 inches past the sack, I'm going in. Dirt Nowinski, bitch, I bar like the Mavericks. Swish.
I'm digging the vocal. I kind of like it's got a nice clarity to it. You can kind of hear everything. The kick is, the 808 is really nice and big. I can hear this. This is a great example of good sublows. Sublows are often a problem in a lot of mixes, but when done correctly, sublows can be very enjoyable if you can hear them. The SonarWorks really helps with my headphones, being able to hear low-end information. If you just take a look at the curve, so the blue is this is the before curve, and the green is the correction. So you can see how much it's enhancing the lows for me, trying to achieve a more flattened frequency. Anyway, my point is I can hear it very well, and depending on where you're listening, it's definitely got a nice, the 808 sounding real big on the bottom. I like the vocals. They're not super wet. They're not super dry. I don't like the really dry hip hop vocal. Like that's just, almost sounds like it's in a vacuum. Hip hop vocals shouldn't also be dripping wet either, like on a pop tune or something. So far, great job.
The money kinda broke, it be count Benjis. Lifestyle like a movie, tell your bitch to film me. These niggas they feel me, these bitches they feel me. I don't do feelings, I don't do them. I'm going in, my wrist, the rollie is spinning. Chuck.
I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins.
That might be a little bit loud for me, that vocal part right there. If you can pull that down just a little bit, it's just kind of in relation to the rest of the tune. It's just a little loud.
Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, let cash it in.
I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, let cash it in. Running to that check, catch my breath. Money over everything like steps. Grinding at the park like it's recess. Get it. 40 Glock extended clip, bulletproof vest. I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just put some ice all on my wrists. She say ice gang, I'll make her kiss it. I say kiss.
All right, right there I'm hearing a little bit of nasal going on in the vocal. Check out some 500. I'd maybe do a little cut there, 1 or 2 dB. Kind of a wide cue. Let me pull it back a little bit.
I'll make her kiss it. I say kiss it, baby girl, these diamonds kicking.
Right, so I can't hear the cue. It's kind of got a little bit of that, that stuffiness going on, and that could be the way the vocal was recorded. It's probably just a little EQ issue that you need to work out, which can stem from the vocal tracking, depending on proximity effect, how close you were to the mic, how far, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't sound terrible by any means. I think the vocal sounds really good. I just think that can sound even better with a little bit of that cut of the nasally frequencies, 500, 550, 600, something like that.
I make a baby babysit, watch my children, watch my kids. I don't fuck with rats, do a little, no rats. Diamonds crossing over, double dribble, double brick. My diamonds screaming, bling like it's a riddle, like a riddle. I don't know these niggas, somebody tell me why. Why these niggas say, let me live my life. Diamonds keep dancing, I got jungle fever. I want them presidents, blue dead people. Bitches, I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms.
I like that vocal stack right there. It's super tight. You know, being pretty familiar with mixing hip hop, you got your lead vocal. A lot of the time you'll do a double or what you call stacks, and then you'll do some ad libs underneath where you will accent certain words or phrases. Depending on usually the MC you work with or the artist or whatever, they might like them extremely tight where there's no discernible I guess delay between them. Other MCs do. They want it to sound a little bit more organic, not quite so tight on the stacks, but that stack sounds super tight. And I think it really works in this song. Let me back it up just a pinch.
Want them blue Benjamins, sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms.
The delay time is right. It almost sounds like it might be running through something like an H3000 where it's got a little bit of harmonizing going on. I know like the Waves doubler can do that if you just kind of tweak each side like a few cents. It can really give it that nice. It's almost basically like a chorusing effect, but it's not. It doesn't sound of what you would think a normal, full-on chorus effect to sound like. But I like that though. Really, really nice.
Running to that check, like cash it in. I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, like cash it in. I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, like cash it in. I just put some ice all on my wrist. I just want them blue Benjamins. Sweet tooth, bitch, I got them M&Ms. Running to that check, like cash it in.
Right on, Sknee G. Very cool mix, man. I was digging that. I don't know if that's one of your tunes or if that was you emceeing on that track or what, but really good job. There wasn't a ton wrong with that. The track was produced really well. I thought the 808 on the low end sounded really good, which is a lot of the times can be overcooked, undercooked, can be a difficult thing to get right. There was just that one vocal part. I think it was like over here.
Put some ice all on my bitch. I got them. I just want them.
Trying to find it real quick.
I don't do feelings.
I just want them blue Benjamin.
Yeah, right there. I would pull that down a little bit. It's just significantly louder than any other vocal part. I mean, maybe that's what you're going for, and if it's a creative decision, then right on. Just something that I noticed that personally I would just pull down a little bit, maybe a couple dB.
I just want them blue Benjamins.
Especially since you drop out so much of the beat there, you only have that bell going and the vocal's super loud. So I might just pull that down a little bit. If you can't, if you're emceeing over a 2-track beat, a stereo beat, then leave it obviously. But overall, really good job. Super cool hip hop track. Definitely thank you for sharing that, Sknee G. All right, so that was Ice All on My Wrists. In summation, if we go back, let me zoom this up. So we had Be the Light from Andrew Laing. We had Phoenix 9 by the band Lumistora, mixed by Flora. And then we had, last up, Ice All on My Wrist, produced by the Icons and mixed by Sknee G. So big thanks to you three. I really appreciate the submissions. As always, really good stuff. Overall, super solid. I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but you guys always impress me every week. These are really solid mixes. So keep up the good work. Keep working hard. But yeah, you guys are doing really great stuff. So if you guys missed the beginning of this video, like I said, this is a Mix Critique Monday, and if you would like a free mix critique, all you have to do is email me. My email will be below in the show notes. All you have to do is send me a downloadable MP3, a downloadable WAV file. Just make sure it has your name. It has the name of the song. And then if there's like a band or anything else that you would like me to mention in it, please include that. Pete@mixbetternow.com. And first come, first serve, send it over. I'll throw it in line. I will definitely get to it if you send it. All right, so that's it for me. This has been the first Mix Critique Monday of 2017. Happy New Year, everyone. Again, I hope you all had an amazing holiday season. I will catch you guys next week with the next Mix Critique Monday. So until then, have an awesome week, and I will catch you later on.